Regarding these N95 masks, I mean, they're not just widgets, they're life and death for medical professionals. So, um, when you have a president telling an organization not to export them, I mean, there can't be any fooling around. So I'm wondering if he doesn't back down, are you not going to move to the next step? I mean, the Prime Minister mentioned the nurses that go back and forth between Windsor and Detroit. I mean, is that not a possibility that, you do this to us, we're going to do something to you?
Julie, I completely agree with the way you started your question. And I think it is so important for us to all be very clear that we understand, particularly for Canada's frontline health workers, that having the necessary personal protective equipment is a matter of life and death. These people are Canada's heroes today. I think I speak for all Canadians in saying we are incredibly grateful to you for your work. And we as a government, and I think this is true of all the governments across the country, understand it is our job to get you the tools you need to do your work safely. So we are totally seized of this issue. When it comes to the question of medical exports from the United States to Canada, thus far, we have managed to keep that pipeline open. And as you point out, Julie, the support flows in both directions. I discussed with Ambassador Lighthizer last night the very real and important example of how Canadian doctors and nurses travel from Windsor to Detroit every day and are doing life-saving work for the people of Detroit. And he was actually aware of that because it came up during the NAFTA negotiations. So we are making that point directly with our U.S. counterparts. We are also very clear with our U.S. counterparts that the United States has no closer economic and security partner than Canada. In fact, by U.S. law, Canada is part of the U.S. military-industrial complex. Health is part of security, and we believe that we need to have a partnership when it comes to health on this continent and when it comes to the health of Canadians and Americans. So we are making that point very urgently and forcefully, and we are going to work to get this resolved. As to the hypothetical of what would happen if it doesn't get resolved, the first step is to resolve it. But I do want to assure Canadians that our government, as has been demonstrated by our actions, is prepared to do whatever it takes to defend the national interest. We showed that during the NAFTA negotiations. And of course, that is the approach we are continuing to take in this fight against the coronavirus.